Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you a new tournament series. This is the RISS, the Remaster TV Invitational StarCraft series. Remaster TV is a Spanish commentator who puts on a lot of great matches, commentates a lot for that scene. He has hosted this amazing tournament and has invited 6 of the absolute best non-Korean players. There is Bonyth, TerrOr, DeWalt, Siki, Mihu, and Fengji, so 2 of every race. It's a really great series, and we're going to be jumping around in it a little bit. This first match that we're going to have here is a best of 7. It's going to be between Bonyth in the top left here, and it is TerrOr in the bottom right. As you can see, I am trying out a few new things to try to make this a nicer cast, some graphics and things popping up. I'll be working on that over time, so thank you guys for supporting the channel, and thank you to Remaster TV for sending me all these great games. This should be a good match, and there's like a lot of great matches being played in this tournament. This is one that we probably won't do just all 100% in a row, but be jumping back and forth to it for some of the best matches in it. Now, this one in particular, I'm really excited about. You know, TerrOr is one of the strongest non-Korean Terran players. He is a Peruvian Terran, and historically has been one of the most successful as far as the Terran race goes. Bonyth, of course, within the non-Korean scene, probably the most successful player, along with like Mihu. Bonyth has done very well for himself. He's won a lot of BSL tournaments, a really strong Protoss player. And definitely I would say he's favored here against TerrOr. Bonyth's style is very hard to contend with. He's got quite good micro on Reavers, and generally ends up rushing to carriers very, very quickly, which can be hard to stop. By the way, the map that we're looking at here is Oil Flow. So that's kind of another interesting thing about this tournament series. It's got some maps that we don't normally see. Oil Flow I actually don't really know very much about. I know that it is a 4-player map, and as you can see on the desert tile set, you kind of go out, you have your regular natural. This battle cruiser, something that can be destroyed, but makes a tighter choke so that you can actually make the correct sim city and everything. Now, these two, the probe and the SCV, did cross each other. This is an N scout coming out of TerrOr right now. So he's checking those closer spawns. Oh, and by the way, as far as the names go, let me explain that real quick. So StarCast _ Bonyth StarCast, they do some commentary as well over there. And sometimes there's a lot of high-level players that do play on that tag. And then Nice Maps 0. So 0 is the wonderful man who runs BSL for the foreign scene. And this would just be a joke idea, as TerrOr is a Terran player. And basically no tournament ever chooses maps that are good for Terran. It's like every map pool that you see is very, very difficult for Terran generally. So just a little joke coming out of TerrOr there as far as his ID goes. Anyways, the SCV is going to go up and see the timing of the Nexus. As you can see, it's actually a faster command center for TerrOr, since he did not go for his own factory yet, right? It's like kind of a gasless expansion that he's gone for. So that's actually very, very good for him. Bonyth is getting the range upgrade here for his Dragoons, so we'll see if he puts any pressure on. I mean, you can. It looks like we have a little ramp here, and you can just kind of walk up to the side and then pressure the bunker if you like. I would be a little bit surprised if Bonyth doesn't pressure it at all. Of course, he could cancel into a robo, but instead he's letting it go and getting that robotics anyways. The robotics is something that you can be pretty sure to see from Bonyth like 95% of the time. He's a really strong Reaver user. I would say the best overall Reaver micro outside of Korea, and he really utilizes them very, very well. So I would expect for him to go Reaver here and probably into pretty fast carrier, maybe like a 3-base carrier or something like that. And we'll see if TerrOr's macro is good enough to get through that. So here, after the gasless expansion, we have TerrOr going for a double factory play. And he is going to go ahead and get that engineering bay as well. That's actually a very, very fast engineering bay. He's playing this quite safely to get it so early. And we'll see what he wants to do with the double factory. Like, is he going to do multiple siege tanks and try to do some sort of pressure? Is he going to do safety siege tanks into vultures? Or will he go directly into vultures? That's kind of what we're looking at here and trying to figure out. So he does go siege tank and siege mode immediately. So this is as safe as you can be. I'm actually, like, a little bit surprised that he's getting siege mode right away. If there's no Dragoons hitting your bunker, like, I don't see a reason to get siege mode quickly. Like, generally, a lot of Terran versus Protoss is about delaying anything that you possibly can until later. Like, getting your defenses as late as you can. For instance, missile turrets, you want to get those as late as possible. It's totally fine to start making them within that 5 to 6 minute window, just in case it's a very fast drop. But to get siege mode and the turrets, this is like a very turtled, very safe play here from TerrOr. So he's basically trying to make sure that nothing bad happens to him in the early game, but it will stifle him a little bit moving forward, right? That's a lot of money that's being spent. Now, the armory is on the way, so he can start on those upgrades. Looking over at Bonyth's side, he is going to Gateway Observer for now and getting that third Nexus going. So this is actually like a pretty defensive build. You can't actually do damage with 2-Gate Observer, but it can basically block anything that comes out. You get quite a few Dragoons, you get those observers out to go scout, check out any mines or anything like that. And yeah, it's just like a kind of stock build for Protoss. It's a very safe way to get into additional bases. Now, he's walking down with 7 Dragoons, and this is just to kind of sit outside Terran's base. Now, 7 do not one-shot a tank. 8 one-shot a tank. So just something to keep in mind here. This is not like a set of units that can dive or anything. It looks like he'll poke in and hit the bunker. And, like, honestly, he'll kill the bunker. It doesn't matter. There's already, like, 3-4 tanks with siege mode. Kind of a funny thing to see the way that he did that. Like, he just walked across the map, attacked into the depot. But the fact that TerrOr already had siege up, there was nothing he could do. He kills a bunker and a marine, loses a Dragoon. It's whatever. So TerrOr's siege mode will pay off a little bit there. Now, back at home for Bonyth, you can see already +1 attack on the way, and there is his Stargate. This is very standard Bonyth stuff. He does skip the Reaver this game, and instead goes directly into that Stargate. So, sending his probes up to his third base. Basically, what he's doing here is making a difficult situation for TerrOr, but TerrOr has his comm stats, so let's see when he scans. He should be scanning pretty quickly, and he'll know right away if he just scans that main base. We'll check the vision the second we hear a comm stat come up. And going up to 5 factories as well as that command center, you can see that this is like a, TerrOr was very safe. Hold on, let's take a look. Okay, so he scans, he sees the Stargate, and he sees the spinning, and he sees this blinking already. So there is a Corsair being made, and you might be confused about that. Now, if TerrOr knows about this new style from Bonyth, I would imagine that he does. But this is a new style that Bonyth actually created on his own, where he gets like 3... it's normally about 3 Corsairs, and he goes into Disruption Web. D-Web, which people may not even really think of. It's that spell in the middle of Nemesis. And what that does is it makes a little cloud where units under it cannot attack. So, for instance, if you're trying to attack Protoss and you siege up some tanks and they cast that over it, your tanks won't shoot until it goes away. Now, it doesn't last for a super long amount of time, but it's surprisingly effective. I've actually played against Bonyth using this strategy, and I gotta tell you, it is a very tricky one to play against. So we'll see how TerrOr ends up playing against this. But Bonyth right now, he's kind of making a math problem here for TerrOr. It's like, TerrOr, can you get enough units to stop Bonyth from what he's doing? He's on 3 bases. He's producing 4 Dragoons at a time. He's going... Yeah, there's the 3rd Corsair being made. And he is going to be going into carriers from there. So it's like, okay, can you get him before he gets 6 carriers? That's kind of what playing against carriers is. Oh my god, he's actually getting some decent damage here onto that command center. Right now, it looks like TerrOr walking forward, does lose a couple of units there. He lost some SCVs as well. He's down 9 workers at the moment, but kills a few of the Dragoons. TerrOr continuing to rally out these tanks. The 2nd armory is coming, as well as that science facility. A little tiny bit slow on that, but not the biggest deal. Some more missile turrets going up. Scans being placed. And he does see the 3 Corsairs. The thing is, as Terran, when you see the Corsairs, you know what it's for. Disruption Web is not something that's never been used, but it's never been very popular against Terran. It's a little bit difficult to use a lot of them, but, you know, Bonyth only getting 3 here. It is an expensive spell. If I recall correctly, it's 125 mana. So it looks like he's getting it now a little bit after his Corsairs are out. So he should have 3 Disruption Webs when the attack comes. Maybe it's 100 mana. I'm not 100% sure. That's how little this spell is used. It's like only used super late game against Zerg, which is very rare in and of itself. It can be used on island maps where we almost never have island maps. And then the last time I saw it in a pro game outside of Bonyth using it was probably 4 years ago, where I saw Shuttle utilize it. Yeah, about 4 years ago. So anyways, we'll see how that goes down. We have the 4th Nexus coming up. A lot of Dragoons out in the front. Just a lot of gateways producing right now for Bonyth. You can see he's keeping his supply up above where TerrOr is at right now. TerrOr adding some more factories as well. So we have 5 there, adding 4 more, going up to 9. That's a very healthy count of factories. 9 will generally do you most games. Like in games where you get a second main base, you're going to want to get above that. But if you're on 3 to 4 bases, 9 is about the right number. So definitely a lot of production. Vulture speed on the way. He's just laying out a few mines. Not that he super needs them right now. As you can see, there's only Dragoons, about 2 groups, and the siege tanks can take those down relatively easily. Not a big issue here for TerrOr. So a lot of Zealots trying to join in the fray now. The Zealot legs are on the way as well. That's definitely an important part after you get your carriers going, to get those Zealot legs so that you have a more mobile army, an army that can actually attack in and start killing off Goliaths with those ground units if need be. And yeah, after that, like, Storm is basically the final thing you would get with a strategy like this. Oh, and there is the Templar Archive. So he is getting ready to have that Storm upgrade as well, which can be just so incredibly powerful against Goliaths. Very similar to utilizing it against Hydralisks. Now, kind of a little bit of a slow game here, as you can see, right? Like, Bonyth is very happy to sit back and just build his carrier count. Like I was talking about, like, you're basically trying to get them before 6. 4 carriers you can deal with about 12 Goliaths. But after that, you start needing a lot of Goliaths, and you have to really make sure you have enough, because the carriers will kill everything very, very quickly. So, you know, that's the one thing about carriers. It's like one of the only things that scales better than mech units for Terran, which is kind of the problem, right? As Terran, you're always looking to take a slightly longer time to scale up, to have your units get really, really efficient in the late game. But the more carriers you get, just the stronger they are. They really outscale everything else in StarCraft. Of course, asterisk, other than one Defiler. One Defiler beats almost everything in the entire game. Okay, so anyways, the 4 carriers out to the side. This is looking like it might come to a head pretty quickly here. A lot of Zealots and Dragoons. Both sides are maxed out. Now, let's see how this fight goes. 4 carriers. They do pick off a few units there, and let's see. The Disruption Webs are going to be ready. And what are we going to see? Are we going to see any Disruption Webs? There goes down one in the back. So those 3 units unable to attack right now. Another one goes down. A lot of Goliaths not shooting at the moment. More Zealots coming up and hitting those tanks on the front line. Look at that, the 3rd Disruption Web. He has shut down a huge amount of units here. Finally, the first one does end up wearing off. And it looks like Bonyth is just going to crush every unit. Look at this. He's up 50 supply after this engagement. It was 190 against 200 at the beginning of it. Those Disruption Webs making a gigantic difference. You know, 2 tanks not firing for the entirety of the battle, and then add in a few more units to that. It really changes things for the 2 supply cost of the Corsair. You know, the 1 Disruption Web coming out makes it incredibly supply efficient. I'm not going to say cost efficient, because it's not necessarily killing anything, but the supply efficiency is kind of insane there. 2 supply dealing with about 6 supply each time, and it's like very valuable supply in those siege tanks, right? Those are the most important part of the Terran army, even against a carrier-based army. Now, Looks like TerrOr trying to counterattack elsewhere. Bonyth just rotating around the map, bringing up his huge carrier count. Look at this. How many does he have? Already 7 here. Just picking off units left and right. With only 1 siege tank there, the Dragoon Zealot will very easily clear out everything that TerrOr has left here. Looks like he's going to pick off quite a few. And yeah, I mean, that's it for TerrOr's main army. Look at the supply difference now. He's down 80 supply. GG is called, and Bonyth will take game 1. All right, so we're going directly into game number 2 here. We are on Butter, the 2-player map, a ladder map, an ASL map. Pretty popular at the moment. Bonyth, the first one to make an attacking unit here, does create a Zealot. One interesting thing, this is a map where you see a lot of offensive gas strategies, a lot of proxy gate strategies, but Bonyth not choosing to even scout, let alone steal that gas. So TerrOr is able to do whatever he would like from this position, and it looks like he's just going for a pretty regular factory expansion. Now, the Zealot slips up the side of the map. We'll see if when it gets there, it can get anything done. But right now, TerrOr's SCV coming down, just kind of checking out the main base. By the way, big cheers to TerrOr for choosing magenta. I think it's the best color for Terran. Let me know if you have a favorite color in those comments below. I don't know. Everyone has colors that they do like to choose. Now, the Zealot gets up on top of 2 Marines, and a Zealot easily slaughters 2 Marines. You need 3 with very good micro to kill off a Zealot. So this is a huge problem for TerrOr already. It looks like he just didn't see that the Zealot was coming as Bonyth went up the bridge to the side, right? That's pretty painful. Already a lot of damage being dealt. And his bunker, I mean, his barracks is in the air. So now you're fighting against a Dragoon and a Zealot, and you have like a half-made bunker, and you have 1 Vulture. It's undoable. This is undoable. You lose this badly. You need like 3 SCVs repairing, if I recall correctly, to outlive the Dragoon. So he needs to pull some SCVs. Pulls up 4, it looks like. I would pull probably a little bit more than that, because you need to finish this. You need to repair this. And you need to probably put 1 on the Goon attacking as well. So Bonyth forces a cancel there. SCV comes up and does get some damage onto the Dragoon. The Dragoon being microed back pretty heavily. Now, luckily for TerrOr, there's none of the Dragoon on the way. Instead, Bonyth taking his own Nexus and getting a Robo as well as a secondary gateway. Now, a lot of damage going down on that Vulture. Going to pull it back. He has 3 Vultures now. The add-on being made. A rough start. A rough start here for TerrOr. He's down a couple of SCVs. Now, he goes across the map with 3 Vultures, but, I mean, 2 Dragoons are going to do fine here, even though 1 is pretty well damaged. Like, the 3 Vultures could actually just kill this, but by the time they do, they've already lost 1.5, probably. So there goes down 1. The SCV actually adds a lot of damage in there. And down goes 2, and now you have 1 Vulture left over. Let's see what he can do with it. Ooh, I really want to see him get at least 1 more probe here. I think it would be such a better situation. Ah, misses it. Not going to get that second probe. Second probe able to heal a couple shields before the second shot of the Vulture comes out. So not the most effective counterattack. The command center for TerrOr up here is almost done. But we'll see what the SCV differential is as that finishes up, because this is like one of the easy ways to tell what's going on in the early game. If you're up a lot of workers, that's very painful in this matchup. So as that finishes, it's a 5-worker advantage for Bonyth. Definitely a good advantage for Bonyth overall. He's on 3-gate Observer right now, so that's like very heavy. This 3-gate Observer will basically live through absolutely any attack, and as soon as you feel safe, you just kind of like cut Dragoon production a little bit, and you can easily expand. You could tech up from there as well, but generally this goes into a 3rd base. Now, the Dragoons walking across the map, they're following this mine. This mine's just kind of double-checking that there's no Vulture mines on the way. There is a single missile turret coming up. Only 1 Marine in the bunker. 1 siege tank being made. A second one being made here. And mines on the way. So no siege mode. He could be in some trouble. Because, like, you can ignore 1 Marine in a bunker. So he comes up and attacks us so quickly. TerrOr's not going to be able to repair this in time. Bonyth killing that right off, and oh man, 5 is perfect here. He's going to be able to do good damage against Seachanks. Kills 1 immediately. Still 5 Dragoons. 4 Dragoons, 2 volley of tanks. So you have to be so careful here. Yeah, he's going to lose that tank as well. Honestly, this game is just about over. Like, you're making a 3rd tank, but he's still got 5 goons. Okay, down to 4, so like maybe you hold this, but now you can see it's a 9-worker advantage. Just calls GG, and it is a 2-0 advantage here for Bonyth.